Hey ho. Okay. Maybe we wait a little bit and let's see what's happening. I prepared some stuff for today. I need to see it. My list, what I wanted to show. Sorry. So okay. The main part today, I think, will be the composition 9, which we play with Zur Schönen Aussicht. So I showed some other stuff from what we play with Sinularia. Now I show you a song with Zur Schönen Aussicht. Yeah, I don't know. Usually I'm composing like a lot of people and compose for a certain situation, means a certain band. If I get an idea, then yeah, I'm immediately know for what I want to use it and how it could sound. For sure, you can arrange every song for another band into something, but this is quite specific stuff, so you don't just play it with another band because it's too much information mostly. So you somehow, it makes sense to think about for who it could be. By the way, is everybody can hear me? I'm just talking. Hey Bernie. Yeah, I'm not talking to nothing. Good. Okay, cool. Super. I don't know. I always don't know if this works, and now I use this OBS thing and click from one thing to another browser here. So okay, then let's begin with the composition. Yeah, maybe it makes sense to listen to it first. So then you know better before we hear MIDI stuff and then it sounds ridiculous. I uploaded it today, the video. I did it, the cut today. So I show you the video. I uploaded it on YouTube for sure, and this is more or less the premiere. I will, yeah, after this session, I will release it on YouTube. But this is for you, especially. So this is 9 at Kulturrabazzz 2020, our festival in Dresden. So here we go. thing. So yeah, this is the song. And now I'm gonna show you what's happening there. Yeah, I also recommend headphones in the end. So what is happening? I show you the first 20-30 seconds, and then I show you what's going on there. So again, this thing. Okay, so far. So what's happening here? Voll, man. Nice. Okay, so the whole thing is mostly, I think, no, the whole time it's divided in 7 tuplets. So, and I already wrote it somewhere, and it is an 11/4 meter and 7 tuplets. So, and what's happening there? Now I try to use my new OBS option. Woo, look, stuff. Haha. So there's a circle, a specific circle, and it goes like this. It's ascending and descending, and something in the middle. So it's 1. Can you see this? Yeah, I guess. Nothing special. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, how to do it? Can you see this? Yeah. 5, and then we go back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the cycle of the number of how long every hit is at the beginning. I show you the very first thing, or maybe I clap it the first time for you. So we have for the quarter, and then we divide it like you heard already in 7. So, and then we have the 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And this makes this yeah, this is what's happening. So is this so far clear? I guess so. And it's a typical, I would say, carnatic row. Let's say it's a symmetrical thing, so it's ascending. Then I have this thing in the middle, the 5, and yeah, I don't know. I just had this idea, and then I thought it's funny to have, or cool to have, a symmetrical thing, and then I put the 5 in the middle. And if we count this together, this is should be 77. divided through 7 makes 11. So we have an 11 4-meter in 7 tuplets. This, right? Yeah. In the end, I wrote it. I also have it in standard notation, but like I already said, I always present my bands the idea of the concept behind the composition. Otherwise, nobody knows what's going on. You just play some notes, and that's not what it is about. So it makes sense for me to that everybody knows what's going on. So and also it helps me to really play it by heart, because in the end that's a real challenge from gig to gig to have all this stuff, like the whole a whole set, like 60 minutes or something, or everything by heart and stuff like this. I always need to repeat the stuff. So what's happening? So this is like the first cycle of 11/4-meter. Then the next thing is that I applied the rhythms or the patterns I use for I was practicing for years, and they appeared in my Speculative Multiple Dimensions Concept, so it made sense that I used them. So, and I'm gonna show you some of them. So this is how it builds up. You heard it at the beginning. It's just this, and then it's getting more and more notes, and this goes like this. The 1/2 stays because it's quite, there is no space anymore. And then I said I take 2 hits for every a pattern with 2 hits per number. So with 3 I took this. Maybe it's easier. I don't know if this works. So two notes, 1 pause. Let's see if this works like that. Maybe it's easier like this. So 1 is just this, 2 is this. Maybe you can see this better. 3 is with 2. 4 I took also this, 2 and 2. 5 I took this, 6, 3, and this, 2, 6, 7, I took this, 3, and 8, I took 4. Yeah, that's the logic. So this is with 2 hits per number. So if I begin with if I begin with the first thing, which is to do it again, sorry. Yeah, this is the first, and if I now put all these rhythms I wrote there, it makes this. Yeah, this is the what's happening. So the first beats, all this always stays, and then I just put one more. Next rhythm is I put 3 hits per number, 1, 2, and 3 stays, because here I can nothing really add. I could do the 3 of all, but I also always want to have one break. So this is with 2, and if I put 3, I can, the 4 becomes this, 5 dum 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 dum, 6 I put dum dum dum, 7 dum dum, and 8 dum dum, is this. Yeah. So if I do this, then we have sorry. Sorry. Again, too little sleep, always the same thing. So no, I'm gonna do it for you. Yeah, this is the thing. The whole, it's the same thing. I always have all the first hits in mind, and then I add this rhythms here, with always thinking the septuplets. At one point you can also hear the stream of rhythms in relationship to the pulse, but it makes totally sense, at least for me, to count the septuplets at the beginning, because otherwise, I don't know, you just lose the whole thing. So, and then the last thing, we have 4 hits per number. So this means with 5 we get this. 6 we have dum, dum. 7 dum, 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 and 8 dum. What did I have? Dum, dum, dum. Push it. Sorry. This. Yes. So yeah, and with this, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a hit, and then 2 breaks. So thank you, Bernie. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so what shall I say? Yeah, if you think this is interesting, share it. It's for free for everybody. So so this brings us to this rhythm. We should. The ending is it goes to the next part. So, and if I show you now again the song, then you, I guess, you can follow the whole thing better. Another thing, maybe yeah, the patterns that you may ask yourself why this, especially this pattern. I did a lot of thinking which patterns I want to use, and yeah, I choose 21 patterns in the end. If you would learn carnatic stuff, you should, I don't know how many they have. It feels like endless. I don't know. I forgot. I'm gonna tell you another time. But what I did is the same thing like the composition. If I have a number from 2, it goes from 2 till 7. I just will show you this. And then I have 2, I just have this option, or I can have 2 both. But I always want to have at least one break. With 3, I just have this option or this. For sure, there are permutations and stuff, but and it's also not that you it's not every possibility. So because I choose some possibilities which made sense for me, and I'm gonna show you why. This is 4, 5 is this. 6 is this. And 7 we have this. Yeah, so maybe it's boring. I can show you this for this. So then we have this, and the last one. So then I'm finished. These are the patterns I use. So, and then you can see, for example, I have in every beginning from 3, I have in every number I have a pattern with 2 hits. For example, this one, this one, this. Then I have from 3 hits, this, and so on. This is the logic behind it. So it makes sense if you use isomelodies, what I do a lot, also in this song. I'm going to show you. Then it makes sense to have different patterns with different patterns. No, different cycles with different amounts of hits. So because yeah, I already mentioned it one time, but I can have, for example, the same. So first of all, it makes sense to make, for example, a rhythm like 2-3, like a 5, boom, boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, with 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. If you make it in 16, for example, boom, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or I can also take Daki De, or however you want to count it, and this makes totally sense for me. And now I could make the whole rhythm. And if I would take the pattern in 7, like I took in 5 with 2 hits, instead of gong 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 gong, I take 4-3. So this one, and then I take the 4/3. This one, also 2 hits, but it's with a cycle of 7. So I have dong, pluck them and pluck it, pluck them and pluck it, pluck them and pluck it, pluck it, or dong, dong. Okay. If I do now the same thing with 3, I switch the cycles. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and so on. You see, then I can have the same kind of melody, just faster or slower. This is a technique I use a lot. So blah blah blah. I show you now again the beginning of the song, and now you will see how easy you can somehow follow the thing. Where is it? Here. So. Now I do this, and I try to show you where we are. Maybe it's not clear where we are. So I show you here always the this was somehow in time for you, but I guess it's clear what's happening. I mean, with the delay, I don't know if the sound and my thing is in time. So synchronized. So I'm gonna show. Here I am, and yeah, you can hear also the hi-hat, which is playing the quarter notes also. Maybe if I show it another time, then you can hear it. But now I show you the next part. What's happening here? Yeah, not that much. With the saxophone, he goes on with the sorry, no. First, I need to show you the saxophone at the beginning and what's happening here. So we have an isomelody, like I already mentioned. So it has 4 tones, and there's one specific thing. Always, if I'm here in this 5, there comes another special note which just appears at this point. So it's I think it was a C B A G descending thing. So you have to what's happening now. So the saxophone is playing C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G, C, B, and then we arrived here at the end. Then there comes a special note. I put the D for the to make clear where the middle is, and to make it's like a I don't know. It's the top of it's the peak. It's the top of the mountain. So, and then it goes back. C with the 8, C, D, C, B, A, G, and so on. Yeah. So this is the isomelody. If you know, if I show it now again, the part when the saxophone starts. So this is that's what's happening. I think it's clear, and I really don't want to show you the sheet because everybody is using sheets, and for me it's like I told you, I always try to sometimes I show my sometimes I show my bands the sheets, but I try to show them after I explained it somehow, so that I don't just play it again. It's really important so that they know what's going on, and it's also nice to know it to if you want to remember it. So next row, if we now we had these 2 notes, then we have the 3 notes thing, and here the saxophone takes a 5 note isomelody. With the 5 note isomelody, it becomes an isorhythm. So just for the formal stuff. So the same thing, and now it's starting from an E above the C. So we have E, C, B, A, G, and so there's still this little space for this 5 with a D, right? So I show you the second thing. Until here, and the 6 now, then becomes the last one with the 4 hits per cycle. We have a 6 note isomelody, or to be concrete, it's even 12, but it's 6. There's an E below, so we have like an hexatonic 6 tones. So E, C, A, B, A, G, and an E below. And every second time, instead of the high E, we have an even higher G. So you can follow this when I show you. By the way, Paul Weberich on saxophone and Flo Lauer on drums. Yeah, I'm gonna tell a bit after the composition what we are doing in general. So yeah, this is the intro more or less, and it's also the main the A part, and it appears in different variations later, but then we have another part which stays in 11/4 and meter, and it is maybe show you again here 11/4, and it is total fire saying yeah. So let's have a bit fun. So then we have 4 chords, and they are, I use a lot of some tones, like common tones, and then change the bass note, nothing special. But sometimes it creates cool sounds, I think. Still, even everybody knows. So, and we have the bass notes F, G, B, and D ascending. And we have a 4/4 meter. It's more or less, then we have a 3/4 meter, and then we have a 4/4 meter. It's divided like this. And then I also put the same logic, the isomelody logic, so which means this is all, everything is 2. So this is 2 quarters, 2 quarters. Then we have a B, 1.5 quarters. So this, here we have this. And then again we have this, G, this. And if we repeat it now, you can see what's happening. It's this. We have A, D, and then we have here, we have the F, G, and we have a B, and here we are again, here the cycles. So a little cycle, but so it displays the chords. There's one there's one exception. At one point we add 1 quarter just for fun to yeah, a little bit how can I say this, yeah, to a bit rebel make a little deconstruction of the whole system. Otherwise it's maybe too systematic. I mean, it is somehow, but so I show you now the part again. Yeah, this was the B part, and now what's happening now? The hi-hat and the hi-hat and the saxophone, they stay. They go back to this rhythm. Maybe you heard above in this part, sorry, the saxophone in the end was in the second half of this B part. Saxophone was playing 3/4 in the 4/4 meter and 2/3 in the 3/4 meter. This is what I'm gonna do now with the bass, also with an isomelody with E and G, and like the saxophone did before, and then the hi-hat and the saxophone continue with the last pattern we had with the four four hits per where it is possible, like the last thing before the B part. Oh, what's happening with my camera? It's not focusing anymore. Ah, here we are. So so then, yeah, I play you the next part. So bass is playing 3/4, 2/3, and the saxophone and the hi-hat are playing the pattern again in the septuplets, and then at one point the bass / guitar doubles it up, so it's 6/4 and 4/3, and at the end the bass drum and the snare comes to, or no, it's bumze-gatze, it's the beat joins me with this illusion. So I show you. Bit back. So I think you could hear it, I hope, and yeah, so that's not easy for the saxophone. If we get a switch on the 6/4 and 4/3 to stay in time with the septuplets. And so next part is still the saxophone is playing, if he is playing a thing, the rhythm, always the D on the 5, and we had here this stays, even he's just playing one tone or with some little variation. So next part, we always play the saxophone and the drums is playing always 2, but a little bit different way, which means 4 becomes really this, 5 stays with this, 6, it's almost dividing in the middle, more or less. Yeah? And this. Yeah. So this becomes the new groove. So it's a little variation. The beginning hits stay the same, and the drums is using isomelody also now, and the most simple isomelody, the bumze-gatze, but with this patterns through the 7 tablets, and I'm just playing the every hit, this okay, this thing I show you now. It comes 2 times, and then there's a little interlude, 1/11/4, and then another time, more or less. I show you this part now. last part, the fourth part, was again the main pattern from the saxophone, and more or less freestyle, septuplet freestyle from the drums. So, and to be concrete, saxophone and guitar played the pattern, the part with 3 hits, and the drums were based on 4/3 and septuplets, more or less, but with variation, without notation concrete. So now we come back to the part, the B part. This, and I just play it. Here, this time there's no additional quarter note, so it stays with the 4/3/4, 4/3/4. And then let's see what's happening. I just play it for you again. We can maybe a bit bigger. So, and here we here's the this is the 2/2/3 standard septuplet clave. Yeah, this becomes the outro now, just to tell you. Yeah. So, and now you already heard the guitar is now playing the thing, but from now it's like improvisation over the chords. And yeah, so it's the same idea than before, from B part to the what? Need a break. The second half of the B part, where the saxophone plays the 3/4 and 2/3, and now it's the same idea. The saxophone, and then it plays dum dum dum, this thing, and the guitar takes it for the next part. So maybe you see, I mean, it's the idea of weaving the stuff somehow together, not just to put some ideas and without, I don't know, I have fun with logic, and for me it makes always sense to for me that this is composition, so it makes sense to not just put random stuff together, which can also be cool. I also did, but for me this makes more sense. Mostly. So now there's an improvisation part over the this thing. This I play you again, and then you will see again a continuum of the parts of the B part. We take the same chords, the same 4 bass notes for the improvisation after the E G, which was also part of the C part, let's say. So everything comes together in the end, and we just have fun with the septuplets. I show you a last time. Stay for 4 meters. No. So this is more or less the structure of the song, and now um, nice. Everybody knows Olli Lutz. He's writing me. I use OBS Studio. It's horrible. I don't know. He's asking how I do this streams thing. Woo! Yeah. So OBS. I don't know. I sent you a thing. I sent you a tutorial. Some friend showed me a tutorial, and now I use it, and still it works. It's really cool, but you need a little bit of time, like always. So some fun. So so what I wanted to show you now. So what's happening? What I use for improvisation in the end. A lot. There's a part at the end. Maybe I show it later. Then there's a part where Paul and me we are playing. In the end, it's just a 5 pattern. Don't again through the quintuplets, but I do it with the bass notes, so it's a bit more challenging. The bass notes are changing every 2 quarters, so it's you can also say it's four times 2/4 meter if you want. Yeah. Dun 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 boom 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 dun 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 dun. Yeah, this is the thing. Dun 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 yeah, this thing, this is the vamp, and now we put the and so on. Yeah, so the pattern through the septuplets 2/4 meter. And for the whole, so this is it's written also there in the end in the composition, but at the beginning it was meant as a dynamic rhythm, which means I was writing down 4 dynamic levels through this pattern. So this means really, let's say fortissimo first, then forte second, mezzo forte the third, and mezzo piano the fourth. If you put this through the dun 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 dun, you get a dynamic isorhythm, which is in this beat really challenging, and until now we didn't have the time to really check it out, but it's also part of my speculative multiple dimensions concept. This idea, I think this is quite new. So if you have time to practice, then you can check this out definitely. Okay, anyways, what I do then is I take all these 21 patterns, especially from 2 till 6, because we are in septuplets, so these 7 patterns, they make sense if you move them around, if you 1 or 2 before or after this to then it makes fun, becomes also hard like everybody knows to do the metronome on the third triplet or something, it would be the same if you put such a pattern. If you put it one hit later, so or before, this would be challenging if the drums is just on every seventh or something. Okay. Which is a nice metronome exercise, and for septuplets. So, but anyways, I practice so this pattern. So it's like 15. I don't know how many I will show you now. I start with a few. So we are in septuplets. So I'm really takite metakite. This is my how I count it. You can count it like however you want, but for me this is my main pattern how I count it. So, and then I take the first pattern, so the 2, which is this one, so one hit and one break. This is still an easy one. And if you have takate metakite takate metakite takate metakite takate metakite takate metakite takate metakite takate, yeah, this makes just 7/2 in the end. And then I put it, I count the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and sing the more or less my bad way the bass notes. Yeah. So, but then I'm able to play it really this. It's not a real displacement yet, but somehow I can use it for improvisation. If I can count and sing the bass notes both together, this makes me really strong. Even the drums plays something else, and the saxophone. So again, boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and so on. Yeah. So this was 3 every third septuplet. Same thing, counting. Then the next, this was this pattern. So now I take this standard pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ah, fuck. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so still playing, singing the bass notes, which makes it a bit challenging. Now I take, for example, this, the 4. I first of all, maybe if you go this direction. Yeah, so need to check out what's happening. So still someone online? I don't know. Is here still someone? Yeah, maybe you can write me because I'm not sure. My Facebook shows weird stuff. Anyway, I try to continue. So we had the 4. So you have different ways. Cool, thanks. So either you count the septuplets, and then you know where every 4th hit will be. So if I have takate metakite takate metakite, then I know it's takate metakite 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 So, or other way, you would count the four, like this is more the carnatic way of thinking, where you if I can dare to say this, I don't know. So you count the four, every four. You think in the septuplets, but you just take 1, 2, 3, 4, this is in the end the same thing. You get the same rhythm, but if you have really the staccatem, it becomes like a new pulse. So it's a stronger thing than just an accent on the 7 tuplets. It's a different thing, I always say it, and yeah, it makes a difference. But still, I know where every hit really has to be. So yeah. So and then I already showed you this pattern. Don't go gang. If I have this now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on. Yeah. With the bass note again. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So this I practice this with all patterns. This is how I prepare myself for the improvisation part, to be able to play all these patterns, but I don't. And then for sure, I mean, you play a pattern, but you at one point you start improvising with this, or you're just in septuplets. You can also do this. And like this, you just flow with the 7 tuplets. If you prefer this, but for me it's both is important, and the flow thing comes also with practicing the patterns for sure, and then you combine it and so on. It's the same thing, like everybody knows. Yeah, nothing special, but still work to do. So yeah, for the beginning again, this makes also sense to show, I guess. Yeah, this row in 7 tuplets, the intro. This part, this is the main rhythm for the whole thing. And now what I want to do more and more, I already showed you, to make more equidistant rhythms, which means from the in every space of every number I put a certain number, for example 2. So if I have in the space of 4, 2 is clear, but in 5 I have to divide it in the middle, 6 is clear, 7 I have to divide it in the middle. So if I would now apply to this whole thing, I play 2 over each number in the septuplets. I try to show you. So we will have first I played real This would be the equidistance 2 over this septuplet rhythm. In 2, 1, 2, 3, I just played 1, 2, 3, just to let you know. I started the 2 from 4 till 8. So, and now I could, I try 3. Let's see how this works. Again, before. Yeah, now we had 3, and so this means I really need to know where the septuplets are. It's like the same thing, like if you have 60 notes and they are somewhere some kicks, let's say it. I don't like to say kicks. But yeah, it's for me it's not a kick. It is just to show you why I'm laughing. It is a new, for me it's a new pulse. It's an irregular pulse. It's a ascending, descending pulse. I want to feel it like this, and I try to feel it like this against the beat, but then I have the possibility to make more music out of it, and this is a real difference for me. Like I already showed you, the equidistant stuff, this makes fun. Now I show you at some parts I try to play 5 inside, so, and then what I always like to do is, so if I put 5 now in the space of the where are 6 written, for example, so you already need a second bracket to, if you want to write it down in the standard classical notation. And if you would do this, if you would take now, if I, for example, play 5, down 2, 3, 4, 5, that then again done, and then I play 1, 2. Over the last 3, I play another 5, for example. Da den ki na don, da den ki na don, da den ki na don, da, yeah. Da den ki na don, da. So in the 5, I play over the last 3 another 5. And if I apply this now to the song, at some parts where you have more space, where 6, 7, 8, I try to do this. Let's see if I can manage. A few times I managed, just right. Yeah, but this is more what I want to do. Now, for sure, I just made it with the, it's too fast for my hand, and with the guitar, maybe I managed, but with the hand not. So I just did it with my voice. But in the end, if I can imagine this stuff, then I can also play it. Mostly, it depends. If it's a technical issue, then not. But then I need to practice it technically. But yeah. So now I try a little improvisation on this web with different stuff. So this would just to show you what you could do, whatever. This is the standard thing. For example, something. Yeah, so sometimes I just did something, I don't know. I switched between septuplets sometimes, and then also equidistant stuff, then sometimes equidistant over the equidistant. What did I use else? And sometimes I just was speeding up and slowing down, which is also a cool discipline over this new wave pulse. Let's say this. So ascending, then there's this ascending, 5 descending. So yeah, so some stuff with the song. And I think this is the most interesting. Now I show you, maybe it's interesting for you, I show you the scores, nevertheless, even I hate it, but I show you the score, here we are, and just play it with the MIDI sound for you one more time. Don't know if the whole song, but, and then I show you with the sound. and so on. I think it's clear. So yeah, for sure, if I show you the standard notation, then you can just play it from the sheet, but you have no clue what's going on. Maybe something you would find out, sure, but still it's a different thing than to know this. So, and again, to come to my next point, a bit our philosophy. So this band exists since 11 years, and yeah, the first, I guess, 7 years we were really serious with rehearsing. We did maybe I can. We had we did a rehearsing every week, at least through the when the studies were going on. So, and then also after studying, and often it was 9. What is this? At a.m. Yeah, which is ridiculous. I don't know. um, yeah, and yeah, but sure, we didn't start with this kind of stuff, but we developed, and I don't know, we did a lot of fun stuff. For example, our third album was total live. It was also a live, not streamed, but it was a live performance in Kokolida. You can find it also on YouTube. So this was the recording of our third album, which was completely one song after each other with some people inside. They were like eating, having breakfast, playing Game Boy, doing stuff. I don't know. While we were recording our album, which we also played. Yeah, we were rehearsing a lot, some months, just to get the whole set in total, and it wasn't that difficult in this way, but it was also a lot to keep in mind. So doing by heart, and this is from the very beginning our main aim, because it's I don't know, it's yeah, it's for me it's a total different thing. I mean, a lot of musicians play stuff by heart, but when it becomes more complex, most use sheets, and this is the fun part and the challenging thing we try. And you also, I don't know, it so it makes also sense to have somehow systematic composition. And this really helps. So this comes together for me. If you have too many random or stuff or variations, then it's impossible. But I think it still feels somehow not clear if you hear it the first time. If you remember the song when you heard it the first time before, in total, I don't think that everybody knew what's going on immediately. And yeah, this is very interesting for me, also for performing the whole thing. I mean, not everybody was dancing yet, but it's also a point for us to let the people move. I mean, music is movement, and it comes from movement. I mean, whole life is movement, but yeah, for me, it makes total sense that people are aware that it is possible that you can move your body to this kind of stuff. It's not an intellectual something for nerds. No, it's not. That's the aim of the band. It's for us it's normal stuff. You can dance to. Even this feels now maybe ridiculous to you, but I don't care at all. For me, I call this future dance steps. Yeah, that's yeah, an important thing. So combining the energy of a yeah, somehow nerd band with a more electronic approach. If you hear the song later, maybe on with headphones, you will see it's not anymore this jazzy approach. It's more this fat beat approach, combining this with nerd music and with a performance which to say this performance yeah, without cheats, just to be, I don't know, totally on the point and to give energy to the audience, to combine all this stuff. This is a really important point for the whole music, and I think that for our music in this, I'm sure this makes a really difference to a lot of stuff. So yeah, so and yeah, this needs a lot of time for sure. I would imagine. So now we're not rehearsing every week, but every 1 month we try to have a weekend or something. It's not working all the time, but yeah, still it's clear for everybody what's to do. Every day I know what I should do. If I do it, I don't know, but it's endless work, and yeah, so also the point to bring it to the people. So this brings me to the next point I already mentioned in another stream, but yeah, how do you bring this kind of music, which is, I call it like post-contemporary beats, or jazz beats, if you want to use these words, I don't know, but it's not the easiest way to bring this somewhere. So because I had the experience to that it's not the standard stuff people present. So it's for rock, it's too less rock. For beat, it's not beat. For jazz, it's not jazz. It's so that's why I call it like this. Yeah, and then if you want to book a tour, then you have these problems. Which organizer, which club, where does it fit? And because we had problems at the beginning, which is also for me somehow a positive aspect, because now I dare to say it's something special and new, because new stuff always has problems with to become more in the focus. And so then we started to have our own festivals. So we now have organized with this band together with the coolest place on earth for me, the Kukulida e.V. in Dresden, and my Subwater Beats. It's not my collective; it's our collective, Subwater Beats collective. With these three things together, we organized like 7 festivals already. All together, it was 40 days. So in 5 years, so this means 8, yeah, 8 days a year in average festival. So which is for most bands a tour every year. Yeah, and this is what we did, and it's also, it's not just to have gigs or something. For me, it's also, there's much more. I can just tell you try to do more festivals. It's the coolest thing. If you have any chance, any crew, any funding, any venue, anything, try to do it. You all know the problems with where to play, when to play, and all this trouble. So I just say, organize your festival, and then let's invite each other. Yoo-hoo. And then we can have this fun. Because, yeah, I don't know, often I don't have that much fun, I have to say, so while performing my stuff. But in this situation, I really had and have. So I can't say it often enough and motivate you to do this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of people do. I don't know who is watching now, but or later. But yeah, for me, it's an important thing. So this is also, and then to make it interdisciplinary, to invite other stuff. This is for me, yeah. When you saw the video, it's not just, yeah, okay, two people are filming us, there are lights, there's a decoration, there's audience, there's some art in the background, some visuals, and so on. It's, for me, this all fits together. It doesn't make sense to divide all the stuff. So, and this is where I see the music and also the potential for the music, and yeah, for all kind of music. Yeah, I think this is a cool way to to exchange with other people, with other musicians, to invite other musicians, to invite other artists, and so on, and maybe to get invited by other, and so on. This is where it starts for me, the whole thing, instead of just writing emails at home and getting bored and annoyed by no answers, which I don't blame anybody. It's a systematic problem I already mentioned last time. So yeah, so but this is all stuff we are thinking about, and also what, I mean, maybe you saw it. Also, we wear some fun shirts, and yeah, stuff you can think about. And this is for me Zur Schönen Aussicht. This band has a lot of layers inside, not just music. Even this is for sure, although this is for sure the main part, and the center for everything, but the fundament. But yeah, I don't know. For me, this makes sense. Maybe you can somehow follow away, and so on. And this brings me to my last thing today, the Futures Cone. I wrote a bit already about it in my last post, but now I show you the graphic. Joseph Walras he developed it farther, because before the people who, so I mean, it's about visions and future and stuff, so which is important for a band, also for everything. But if we now stay with the band, in a band context, or what, then you can see what, if I show you this thing now, what potential we have. Can everybody see this now? I hope this works. And yeah, it's an interesting thing for me. It's somehow always, now I have a what shall I say? I found something which makes sense to me, and to explain how I plan, how I always thought and stuff. So I mean, I think you can see it and read it for your own, which I don't have to explain that much. But what Joseph Warras added is the preposterous part of the cone, which yeah, this is the part we think it's impossible, this won't ever happen, this future. So if you bring this now to political stuff or climate stuff, then you can see what we need now, I would say. Not just a band, which is in the end not that important. If we don't manage political stuff now, especially not use this chance now with this crisis to come to better solutions, like Spain now tries to stuff. And yeah, I think you read all the news. So yeah, but this is this really, when I see this, it really motivates me to do stuff, and that's always how I try to think. So to do some impossible stuff, even if I practice, to make bigger things. When I developed my concept, I knew it's impossible to play this thing, but still I developed it and I wrote it down, and now it's online, and I don't know, it's a speculative thing. So let's try and risk more. Let's do more stuff which people maybe say it's ridiculous or preposterous or whatever. Yeah, I just can motivate to do more stuff. Yeah. Even if it's hard, and yeah, for sure the projected future, the plausible, this is way easier to reach, but on the way to the preposterous, there are endless things could happen. They would never happen if you will never try it. So for me this makes totally sense. So I try to do this, and also to add another thing. I mean, this is all just stuff we can imagine. So even the preposterous, I mean, a lot of people won't be able to imagine this. They are maybe at the possible one that they stop, which is sad if you imagine politicians sometimes. Nothing against them, but yeah, we need to think way more far than we do. And yeah, so, and this is just the thinkable stuff. So there is also the potential is, I would say, endless. So there is more stuff we can think, and this is also a thing. Yeah, the guy I always mention, Armin Avanesian, is talking about, and also other stuff. I knew it through him. To think the new the speculative thinking he is into, and a lot of speculative realists, his philosophic stream. Yeah, they try to make new how to say this, new frames for thinking. So to make a frame which allows a thinking which can't be thought yet. So if you follow this, and this also means to think from the future, not from now to the future, but you go to the future and think back to the present. in this kind of thinking, this is also connected with recursive thinking. In computation, this word exists, and that's also why I use it for my get-together. Yeah, that's how I somehow, when I read this really motivated me to try to somehow feel this and think this. Over. Someone is writing over. Yeah, okay. So I don't know if this still works. So yeah, maybe this is also enough for today and in total. So maybe I don't know if this will be recorded, but again, so I think this was a lot of stuff. I play you the song again and try to motivate to thinking from the future. So thanks again. No stream anymore. Okay, I hope I can. This will be recorded, and then you can see it again. So I showed the last time the song, and then thanks for listening and watching, and do cool stuff in future and so on. So here's my thing again. Okay, people, so see you and have fun again with the song.